City Real Estate Time with our favorite realtor of all time, Sarah Daniels, of course. Needs no introduction, but just can we point out the beautiful construction going on behind us?
Yeah.
You bring the beauty to the couch.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. I mean, no matter where you go, I'm constantly amazed because I'm in Vancouver quite a bit. I do live in the suburbs, but downtown you drive along and all of a sudden there's a house gone and there's something else going up. I mean, it's crazy.
And they're bidding wars galore.
Bidding wars galore. You know, there's a sort of a sweet spot for bidding wars. Every neighborhood has its sort of price point. In Vancouver, it's certainly between $1 million and $2 million for the detached homes and slightly above, and that is the hard fought after area. Where I live in South Surrey, White Rock, it's between $750 and $1.1. So you know you're taking everything in increments to that sort of that middle sweet spot that the most people are looking for, and that's what you're seeing in Vancouver. But even in condos and townhomes, for instance, one on the west side of Vancouver, sort of Mackenzie Heights, a townhome in a very small complex. You don't find a lot of townhomes through that stretch. Listed at $629, multiple offers. Wait for it, $881.
Wow.
$629 to $881.
So
Crazy.
how do you direct your clients for preparing themselves to enter into a multiple bid situation?
It's entirely stressful. Most people like to sell their property before they purchase, especially in the suburbs. In the city, people don't tend to do that as much because they're afraid of getting, left out. It's almost like a game of musical chairs where all of a sudden the music stops and you've got nowhere to sit. And that's what I'm finding certainly with my clients in the suburbs right now. We've sold places. It's very difficult to find something, and yet people get really sort of caught up in the excitement, the emotion of it, and they will jump on the wrong property. Always a mistake. I know it's a pain in the tuchus to have to, sometimes park yourself in a rental property for a while until the right one comes along. But you have to look at it from the point of view of, if I hadn't sold my place and had to be out of it by July the 1st, would this be the property that I would buy? So, on top of everything else, you have to really sort of be thinking about what you're doing. First thing you've got to do, of course, is for most properties, especially the detached homes that we're looking at that go onto these multiple offers, is what the realtors will generally do is position it so the listing will come available on the Tuesday, and it'll be sent out to all the realtors' clients, right? And everybody can see it. So it'll say agent open Thursday 10 to noon, and a sneak peek maybe Thursday night 5 to 6, right? Then you'll have your open houses on Saturday and Sunday. Offers, if any, presented Monday or Tuesday at 3 p.m. Let's call it. So you've got a little bit of window of time. That listing comes out on the Tuesday. You can do your little scan on it. You can go there on the Thursday. If this is something that you're really interested in bidding in, especially if it's detached, do a pre-inspection, because you're not going to be able to write in a multiple offer situation with any kind of subjects. You want to get that pre-inspection done and make sure that you know what you're going into. Now, a lot of people will say, yeah, but it's like $600, $700, $800, and what if I lose out? Well, guess what? What if you get it and you've paid $150 over ask and you find out it's all knob and tube, which should be declared, or things like that, but it's got vermiculite insulation, which may or may not have asbestos, and there's other issues going on with the house, foundation, etc.
So you never want to put in an offer without having done a pre-inspection? If you're buying a condo, technically you probably don't need to do an interior inspection because you're going to have access to the strata notes and everything, and that's going to cover the building itself. An inspection per se for a condo would probably be finding things like if the stove didn't work properly, or, maybe some electrical within the building, within the unit itself, but it's not going to be as big a deal breaker as you might find in a detached property. Other thing to keep in mind too is that people need to keep in top of their finance clausing, right? Because the financing that the banks provide these days changes literally month by month. They are super, super sticky. I mean, I literally had to do a refinance for myself recently. No big deal. I'm thinking, hey, this will be just fine. Literally coming back to me and saying, because I had upgraded my phone for myself and my niece, and because I pay for my niece's cell phone. I had thought that I'd put both phones, the upgrades, on my Visa, but one had actually rolled over on my TELUS account. And, I just automatically pay the same amount every month. Unbeknownst to me, there was a $450 upgrade on my, and this came back. I mean, this on the refinance,
like, well, we need proof that you paid for that $450 phone, and you're thinking, oh my God, are you kidding me? So this is the kind of stuff that can really catch you up. So if you've done your financing and you've been pre-approved 6 months ago, don't rest back on your laurels. Other thing is, don't go out and buy a car. Don't do anything like that that's going to have a payment that's going to line you up, because that's going to mess you up.
What about if you're locked in a bidding war, the value of an emotional plea to say, you know what, you really want this place, to write a letter to the seller? Does that ever work?
It often can work, because the thing is, I mean, if you're a young family, you're expecting your first baby, and you're up against development
developers in a lot of these situations. These homes, especially between the $1 and $2 million mark, are not built to the full scale of what could be housed on that lot. So, you know, it might be a cute little bungalow with a basement. You may want that cute little bungalow with the basement to live in. The developer wants to tear it down and build a big home. So if the owner of that home has been there for 20, 30 years and, you know, they love it and their grandchildren brought up there, you send a letter saying like, hey, here's the deal. We want to live in it. We love this neighborhood, family oriented. We're not tearing it down. We're not developers. You might have a chance, though what may happen is the developer might have outbid you. The seller very well could come back to you and say, will you match this offer?
Right.
So you might have a chance that way. But at the end of the day, money talks.
Money talks, and maybe not round numbers necessarily.
Yeah, well, as you know, I mean, sometimes it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of a lucky number. Like we used a birthday and anniversary for you.
Yeah, 10-11-03.
Yeah, exactly, for the last couple of numbers. And you can sort of explain that, your realtor can explain that at presentation. We've added some lucky numbers here. We've been looking for a while. You know, you try and make that emotional plea, but at the end of the day, what generally happens in these situations is that all the offers are emailed. They're just presented, and again, make sure you've got your deposit check going along with that offer. No subjects, unfortunately. You've got to have all your ducks in a row and a deposit ready to go. Because here's the thing: is everybody else got their deposit, you're going to get it the next day. That's an out as far as the seller is concerned for you to walk away.
A lot of good food for thought right there. Realtor Sarah Daniels, always great to have you on. You ask 2 questions, you get a wealth of information.
I know. It's like she's done television before.
I ramble, don't I?
No,
No,
other
you're
words.
outstanding.
No, this
And a great
works.
follow on Twitter.